All right. Going here. Let a few people get into the room. I have some interesting topics. I think everybody's going to enjoy today. It's going to be a good show. We're going to have some fun here. So I'm just going to take another minute to get set up, let a few people get in the room, and we'll get down to business here. How do I shut off sounds in Telegram? I just installed this here. I just installed Telegram on this machine. I was going to jump into that for a second. I'm going to share my screen here in a minute. So just let a few more people get in. Okay. One moment, please. Notifications, play sound. Let's not play a sound. Okay, I think we're good there. All right. Cool. Hey, what's going on, guys? Nancy, Daniel, Brandy, welcome. Welcome. Hi from Quebec. Love it, man. Hope you guys are doing well up there in Canada. I'm here on the border in Detroit area, so pretty close to Windsor. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Just one moment, please. Let's do a screen share. Okay. There we go. Everybody got the screen share. Cappy369. What's up, buddy? So nice to meet you. So nice to meet you. So nice to meet you. So, all right. What we're going to do today is a little bit slightly different format here. I just wanted to jump on, kind of just shoot the breeze, you know, go over some topics. I just watched something that I thought was pretty interesting. I thought so. It's intriguing. It's hard to find actually on YouTube, but it was originally on the, I saw it on the JCK channel, and I watched most of it there. I kind of jumped around a little bit. It's 5 hours, 6 hours, depending on which version, called The Lost History of Earth, or some versions of it say Flat Earth. So I'm going to start off by saying that I am not convinced that we live on a flat Earth. Okay, not personally convinced. I cannot say that it is absolutely impossible. So real quick, my thoughts on this. Could we live in some sort of a disk and also have it be round at the same time? I thought about that for a minute. I know that sounds like a strange theory, but think about if, you know, maybe it could be both somehow, you know, that or something like that. Obviously, the firmament comes into play, right? So I certainly don't have 100% belief in a heliocentric model or a flat Earth model. I kind of see things that really interested me in this movie, or I'm going to full screen this here. So hopefully this computer has enough power to do this, man. Maybe I'm pushing this thing too hard. It's kind of an older machine. Hold on a second here. Why did it just do that? Fail. Okay. Well, for whatever reason, it's spinning now. I don't know why. It got canceled. Hold on a second. This is lame. So all of a sudden, I cannot play that video.
Precipice of another great journey.
All right, here we go. So yeah, so if you guys have watched this yet, so far, it is a very intriguing video. I guess I'll just kind of cut through some parts of it here. It goes into kind of like if you guys have ever checked out like the Forgotten History stuff, there's a cultural layer. Actually, I do go on Reddit occasionally, go on Reddit, and cultural layer kind of goes into that, right? The lost history of Earth kind of goes into that a little bit. Talks a lot about the ancient the older structures, the structures that have been built in many places in Europe, Russia, United States. The theory of Tartaria or Grand Tartary, I think it's called, right? Which I'm really trying to come to a level where I could see how that could be possible. And I'm not saying that, hey, it definitely is not possible or it didn't happen. I do think that, as we've discussed before on the channel, I do think that cathedrals had purposes that we may not use them for today as much. I think they were built to do quite a bit more, and they have a lot more technology going on. They're incredible works of art, regardless of your belief system. If you think that, take away the religious connotation of the cathedral, and it really still, it's an incredible structure. Forget about the religious portion of it. Just look at the structures, look at the buildings themselves, and magnificent structures. So yeah, so then it gets into spires and domes, and talks about how, and I'm sorry if you haven't seen this yet. I don't want to go too deep down here, tell you everything, but I'm just I'm intrigued by it. This stuff too. So like, if you look here, they're showing, I believe, the Capitol building in DC, how they excavated, and there's pillars and beams and arches that are partially buried, and that's an argument that they make for this theory of the mud flood, which I had heard a lot of this information before, but I did go to Cultural Layer on Reddit and a few other of those groups like Forgotten History and some of these things. So I was pretty familiar with a lot of the content, but this Ewaranon? I'll get the name for you guys, but it's very hard to find, actually. Ewaranon, this guy, right? So what else do they go into? They talk about the one unified civilization that existed. And then, okay, so this is one I will say is absolutely, positively, without a doubt, suspicious as hell. Okay, these world fairs. The world fairs, definitely alarm bells are going off, thinking something was up with those world fairs. We need to investigate more about those, because the world fairs had these amazing structures that would almost seemingly impossible to build today. And yet, after the world fairs happened, they just blew them away. And there's also an intriguing video I watched the other day about, I forget if it was this one or another one, talking about how hard it was to demolish a lot of these structures, and how a lot of these Greco-Roman buildings were built in supposedly the late 1800s and then demolished in the 60s or something. So just a lot of weird stuff going on, and thinking about the possibility for wars that were never even put in the history books, completely lost to time, stuff like that. It's just crazy. It's absolutely unbelievable to think about some of these concepts now that we have been just force-fed this narrative and this agenda for so long. Okay, so it also gets in a lot of very scientific information, which is quite a bit more detail they'll go into in this. But in a nutshell, it talks about how there's all these in the cathedrals, the capacitors, and perhaps they were used to collect free energy, and they were using, I think, xenon gas and essentially spinning mercury, doing all these very advanced things with this technology that existed in America. So, like, what do you think of? I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, went to high school in the 90s, and we were given a very different version of history than what I've learned, right? We learned that basically the Pilgrims came here, There was definitely no other Western civilization, never ever was here before that. And when they got here, all there was like a couple teepees and no real cities here in North America, right? Or in the what became the United States, hardly, right? Nothing really, not a lot going on. Certainly no giants. Certainly no advanced civilization was here, right? That's the story that we get as Americans. That's what we get pretty much. But then we find out that, wait a minute, there was potentially giants. Abraham Lincoln referred to giants in a manuscript in Illinois, which there's the Serpent Mounds, and there's pyramids in several parts of the country. Supposedly, there's a pyramid under Alaska, underground west of in a western portion. I can't remember exactly where, but heard some wild stories, military whistleblower type stories about that pyramid in Alaska. I think it was on Carrie Cassidy and the other woman that does a lot of that stuff will come to me. So there's been a lot of the pyramid stuff. The also the city. There's a city. Was it Chicoa in Illinois? Right. I believe that's the one it is. That very very interesting stuff. But then you start to think, well, what about New York City? What about Chicago? What about Detroit? A lot of these places have Greco-Roman architecture that stretches, has very specific claims as to when these things were built, right? A lot of the time, it's like it was built in 1880, and that's the way it is, So, or something to that effect, right? And what they're saying is, no, some of these places were part of this great, Grand Tartary, right? Including a lot of the European places and Russia. And, that essentially Russia took over Tartary in that portion of the world. And so it definitely is very, very interesting. And a lot of very scientific info, like talking about doing stuff with electricity and showing you some experimentation that's gone on that could potentially produce free energy and just resonance with these structures. And another one that I'm really interested in, and I'm becoming more and more interested in, is the star forts, right? I didn't know about. I was never taught as a kid. Hey, there's all these beautiful fortresses. Look at these images of these beautiful overhead star forts, right? I'll just pull these up real quick here. So, which is interesting. So I'm here in the outskirts of Detroit, right? And we have all I think everything they mention in this show, this Earth history, Ewaranon, the lost history of flat Earth. Ooh. So it's still hard to say. I'm not saying the flat Earth thing is fully resonating with me. I'm not saying that. I'm definitely taking in information about it. It's interesting. It's intriguing. I'm looking at. He talks about this thing with the moon, that the moon is like a reflection or something to that effect. And so there's definitely intriguing thoughts, and I can't disagree with everything he's saying. I can't necessarily that I'm vibing with everything he's saying. So it's just it's a thought-provoking type of affair there. So very interesting. Star forts we have here, and he puts like a sound frequency over them. In one part of this, it's like bouncing around in the star fort like a frequency wave, and it gave me it really turned on some dormant DNA or something to that effect. It did work for me. So one real quick thing I'll share with you what got me intrigued about Detroit specifically, because we have the old county building that's still standing that they claim in that is the hallmark of a Tartarian city and or whatever you'd like to call this advanced civilization that they claim. We also have a star fort, Fort Wayne, and we also, believe it or not, have a small cathedral. Small cathedral for some of the cathedrals out there. And I will say, I have never been in it, but I plan to go very soon. and it's definitely not the most intriguing cathedral. It doesn't compare to a lot of the ones in Europe and even some of the other, I believe, ones in the United States. But still, we have that, and so we have a lot of these things that here that would be considered to be the hallmarks of this type of this civilization. And Detroit was founded in 1701, and so that, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about, and it's fun. It's a fun time. I mean, well, it's fun to a point where you realize that that if it does exist, then it's been wiped from the history books, and it's a very it's like a heart-wrenching type of conversation and thought process when you start to go into, well, how could they do this? How could they do that? How could they eliminate an advanced civilization and then make everybody believe that it doesn't even exist? That's pretty powerful evil vibes, evilness. I mean, I can't think of anything. I'm sure I could think of something even worse, but it's pretty bad, right? And then the narrator starts to say and repeat that this was a reset, and an industrial revolution was like a cover up. And here we have Klaus Schwab and fourth industrial revolution and the Great Reset all right at our doorstep, and they're trying to make everybody get the jabby jab, right, and all that. So it's crazy to think that this could have happened, but then you look at where we're at right this moment, and it's wild stuff, right? So that's one thing that has been on my mind, and again, I apologize that this is like I don't know if that's Arabic but it's hard to find this video, at least on YouTube, of course, and I haven't tried to find it on BitChute yet, but it's Ewaranon, EWAR, and Anon, and then the lost history of flat Earth. So check it out. So I'll move on a little bit here. I think that's an interesting topic. We can chat about that in the live stream or in the live chat a little bit later if anybody's interested. I'm interested in it. So then we got Elena Danan still turning up the charts here at TR3B Alpha News. Tony Rodriguez has been recently scheduled to be on that program, and I actually got a chance to meet him, and I asked him a question one time at the Detroit UFO conference. If you ever check out that video, somebody asks him, Tony, who's in charge here? Like, what the hell is going on, right? That was my question. I asked him that, and he's like, well, I'm paraphrasing. You can go look up the video. It's on YouTube. It was 2019 UFO conference. He's like, well, from the series, he kind of alludes to that. What he had overheard is it's the Draco reptilians, right? And so that's on YouTube somewhere. Okay, so and of course I'm sure there's other groups, but he being on Series Base and other places, I believe he had been. That's the info that he had kind of picked up, right? So it vibes kind of, they definitely meshes with Elena and many others, right? That there's a unseen, possibly reptilian type of species that potentially kind of run roughshod on or have quite a bit of influence, we'll say, put it nicely, on the ruling class of the earth, right? That's kind of the general synopsis we get from many of these people that you could go right down the list. And whether you don't have to like these guys, but like, Corey Good even talks about it, David Wilcock, even those guys, even if you go to those guys, Greer, is acknowledged, we're in contact. I mean, all these guys, whoever it may be, all the Galactic Federation channelers, right? You got, like, these guys are doing, now they're doing something right now, Farsight. Okay, so I like remote viewing. Okay, who doesn't in this space we're in, guys? Remote viewing is fun, and so these guys are very serious. They're trying to take the word Farsight and make that into like the actual word for what they're doing, And these guys are not just doing that. And this guy's a trip right here. I don't know what exactly what his name is, but I've been watching a couple of his videos. He kind of looks like, reminds me of like David Bowie kind of. Like on that, he does like these psychic channelings, and he's talking to the Galactic Federation of Worlds. So he's kind of working on behalf of humanity, I would say, is how I would explain it, in a benevolent way to try and get us out of some of the bad deals that we made or were made on our behalf without our direct knowledge and information, not a direct consent, right? And so it's interesting. I mean, the videos are a little bit strange, I will say, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I feel like he's in the right mindset though. He seems to be pretty on point, and I also believe this gentleman and his team recently did a remote viewing of the basically what would equate to the Nazi Antarctic base stuff going on, things like that, right? And they did a bunch of that recently, and it was pretty impressive. I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I'm obviously a pretty big believer in a lot of that stuff. Obviously, I think I mentioned I have a General Byrd autographed picture I'm looking at on my wall right now, so I'm pretty into that. And so intriguing stuff. UFO crash in Antarctica, remote viewing of Voyager, right? They do some cool stuff, and he's trying to help get us out of those bad deals that we apparently were made on our behalf. So I would definitely say that this guy is his heart's in the right place, and their team seems to be they've got the right state of mind. I think they're definitely seem to be doing good stuff there. So then we got this guy, Sam the Illusionist. Here's another guy that what do I think about Sam the Illusionist is, he does a very wide range. I will say that one thing that's impressive about what he's doing is that he is claiming to talk to Arcturians, Pleiadians, the Galactic Federation, archangels. That's pretty impressive. I mean, most of these guys out here are only doing one or two contacts, and they're in the same group typically or something like that. This guy he's got the wide range going on here, right? And also that guy Daniel Scranton as well. He does the Arcturian channeling. I think he's pretty interesting. I think his messages are always spot on. I will say that watching the technique, like he does I didn't realize till recently, because I always had Daniel Scranton videos were always coming through like this other channel, and I didn't realize like he did the technique, and he's like me 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 me, and so like sometimes I want to put these videos on, and like I'll be in a group of people that have never experienced this stuff, right? And some of these videos that I watch are pretty different than what you would see on, say, like, Comcast cable or something, right? You're not going to see, well, who knows, maybe you will in an entertainment show, but when people see that, it's, so I sometimes will listen to like transcripts of that, right? If I'm around other people or something like that. So, but I think that makes sense, like what he's doing. He's got like he's tuning in. Check that guy out, Daniel Scranton. It's kind of cool. Okay, so Sam the Illusionist, he was a magician. Look, Lemurians, everybody, man, this guy is where it's at. If you're an ET right now, you just want to talk to Sam the Illusionist. Looks like, right? He's on fire. So then, what else? All right, so then this is just like my what is this? My feed on YouTube? I don't even know, but I don't think I meant to have that open. But here, let's look at BitChute. What's going on? Have you guys ever used BitChute? It's okay. I feel like almost every video on BitChute is like doom porn. I mean, it really is. But I mean, I guess we need some of that. You gotta wake people up here. But I try to find good stuff. But I mean, I guess that's what's needed right now, right? Because all the info is getting kicked off of the other platforms. So got no choice. Got to put it all there. They don't need like, walkthroughs of video gaming stuff on here. This is like, this is the outpost for information. So it's pretty hardcore, right? Alex Jones, guys that like this is like the graveyard of my YouTube channel. Yeah. So yeah, BitChute is the graveyard of my YouTube channel because all the people that they've killed on YouTube are alive here, pretty much, right? Even like Jordan Sather's on here, but he never makes videos anymore, man. What happened to that guy? I was early on Sather. I was with him, Q, in his Q, man, I shouldn't say that, 17 um days, right? He was on fire, right? So now got I got on Michael Jaco pretty early with this channel. I think he's a great channel, and that guy just gets. I remember there was a couple weeks ago, I got kicked out of, I would say, 5 or 6 live streams of Michael Jaco in a row. Every day, his live stream would get cut short, and it would be right in the middle, and it was kind of rough. I think he's got that under control now. But man, that guy's been kicked off more times. He's coming back and coming back, right? And I love that about him. It's great. I have his book too. I have his autograph book, and it's a pretty good book. Um, it's fun. So here we go. Anyhow, let's keep moving. We got the Star Force here. There was one other thing I was going to talk to you guys about. Oh, yeah, I was just going to check out, like what I'm looking at on Telegram, right? Because I'm still trying to figure this app out a little bit. I think it's fun. And by the way, if you want to jump on TR3B News, I only have 20 subscribers right now, guys. I would love for you to join TR3B News on on Telegram, because I drop a occasional mega red pill there every so often. It's like my style here, right? I don't come on here a lot. I would not be able to do this every day. Not that organized. I don't have that much content, but I tend to come out of nowhere and then, do something, boom, and then go off for a while, right? So that's kind of the way I run TR3B News. I'm not going to go through every story with you. You're not going to get like boom, 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 everything. And I've noticed a lot of these Telegram channels are all like the same stuff in the same order. It's almost like I have had to delete a few because they just, I don't know. I'm looking for fresh content. If you guys have any sweet content or good channels that are unique on there that are really good, I'm following, Sidney Powell, Linwood, Digital Nukes. I don't know if this is even the real Benjamin Fulford. I think a lot of these are not even, official or whatever, but it's kind of just like the vibe I get from them, right? So I'm just doing a couple of these anti-gates, but I feel like a lot of these are just bumping the same stuff. This one's pretty cool. V darkness, magnetism, electricity. It goes into some Tesla and hardcore stuff here. It's pretty cool. SGT. I feel like SGT report just puts up clips of Fox News all the time, pretty much, though. Well, they were for a while. Tucker Carlson. So I don't know. I mean, I'm still looking for good stuff. Okay, so of course this one, CBK, right? People think this is Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, right? Is that what this is supposed to be? Okay. Don't know. Don't know if it is. JFK Jr. Again, my stance on that, I guess it's possible that this dude could still be out there, right? I can't completely rule it out. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but I'm certainly, as always, I'm not betting the farm on John F. Kennedy's our savior, right? Junior. So it'd be a great story, right? It'd be great if, yeah, sure. We got Elvis, Michael Jackson, all these guys, JFK Jr., CBK. We're having the great, they're all holding hands and bowing, and we've just unlocked the Tesla coils, and we're with all our galactic cousins, and we're just having the best old time. It's like a mega Trump rally. Everybody's there. We got the med beds healing the COVID people and the other people that need help, right? Or I should say the people that jab. Gotta help those people. everything works out great, right? That'd be fantastic. That'd be awesome. And I'm definitely vibing in that direction, right? Got my Moldavite on tonight, and got my Ankh on tonight, and just trying to be there, right? However, at the same time, I'm looking at the fact that, well, not the fact, but the potential possibility that it these the ruling cabal is very so powerful that they're able to wipe out an advanced civilization that had free energy and make people believe that they didn't even exist. And so do what do you do at that point? You just like, oh man, we won the war, and the Galactic Federation's got it, Jesus, it's going to come down. All these great things can happen. I'm just going to sell my guns and like leave my door open. We won, right? I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can. You can just. I think we have to fight, and we have to find ways to make this work. Because if it was so easy to do that, and we already won, then I don't think it would be like we would have the vibe that we have right now, like with what's going on in the world. I don't think we're quite there yet, right? Doesn't feel like it from here. So I'm not ready to be in that mindset just yet, right? I'm not ready to claim victory. I think we need to definitely raise our vibration, get into the 0 point, meditate, ground to the earth, and that's the only way that that's not the only way, but one of the ways that we're going to win is raising the frequency in that way, and then raising the frequency with other people, right? So that's making somebody feel better, or helping them, or doing healing to them, or something positive like that to help people around you. I think that if we can raise everybody else's vibration around us and keep them in a good place, help them out, that helps as well. So yeah, that's my Telegram. Oh, General Flynn, Santa surfing. Now this lady, I don't watch her videos, or I don't know if she has videos anymore, but there's a few times when, man, I was just like, oh God, she's way too positive about what this thing is. Like, she's like, oh my God, it's, this happened. It's just Sarah, and she was just going off, and it would be, and then by the time the video posted, it would already be like completely everywhere. It would already hit, like it's not happening. So it was already kind of like a cringe-ish video. And then you're looking at the headline, like, blah, 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 totally untrue. And it happened a couple times with her. And it was just like, you're kind of leading people in this false hope, right? It's too positive. And I hate to say that, because she's got like a great personality, and it seems like a very nice lady, but just like over the top positivity in situations that I was like, that's not really that great. But oh, of course, this guy. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like James Gillen? I think he's great. Jaron Jackson. I don't know if this is the real G&D code. Before It's News, Orwell City, official Simon Parks, right? This guy, we talked about him before. James O'Keefe, and James O'Keefe is the man. Okay, James O'Keefe is the man. How can you not like James O'Keefe if you're in this business? Come on, this is some random 17th Leather channel. This is what a winner looks like. Sydney McLaughlin. Yes. What's with all these athletes? Man, they're just bumming me out. I know we got issues, but I'm not digging a lot of their like little stunts. Man, quit your stunts. Knock it off. Right? Don't you want them to knock it off? Kind of sick of it. Okay. So let's go jump into chat. I'm going to talk to some people. I have not looked at my chat yet. We have 21 people. That's awesome. 15 positive likes already. 100%. So let me just move some things around here. I want to talk to you guys, because you guys make the channel. It wouldn't be anywhere near as much fun if I didn't know that 21 or 22 now people are watching. So I really enjoy and really happy that you're here. So let's see what we got. Okay, we got some comments about flat Earth. Sure, it could be. John H says it's a C to the I to the A rabbit hole. It's totally possible, right? I'm still helio, bro. So we'll see what happens. But I could be convinced otherwise if I had access to see it. Okay, we all know that something dark is going on our planet. We all know that a lot is being manipulated by the globalists. Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say is it blows my mind how powerful this darkness has been, right? But I think now that we have the internet and we have some of this technology, we can use it to it's like before, I bet you that way more people got smoked during this, like the Spanish flu, right? That was definitely, probably like the CV-19 of that era, and that very well could have been a bio attack, and they did all kinds of the same shenanigans. Sure. So how is it not plausible that they're just running the same playbook that they ran 100 years ago, right? So yeah, it's crazy. It's worse than I thought. That's what I like to say. Like I usually like to say, hey, that's better than I thought. No, it's worse than I thought. It's incredible. It's Tesla's birthday. Okay, well, that's cool. Oh, and like one thing about that, okay. So one thing that was kind of crazy, I think this dude, Ewaranon, was like calling out Tesla. He's like, Tesla's always on it. Us truthers have Tesla on the most pedestals, largest pedestal of all time, right? But he's like, well, Tesla, he kind of alluded to Tesla actually was more like a patsy or of such that introduced technology so that it could be uh, disregarded and shoved aside. So he was kind of serving a role for the cabal or whatever, right? So, I mean, I don't think that if that's the case, it was intentional, because I think he was a good dude, great good guy. So he put a little spin on it, like like Tesla's not a good guy, right? He's not of the light. I think he seems to resonate with the light, in my humble opinion. Okay, so that I thought that was interesting. But they say UFOs. Really? Yes. Okay. Tesla. Ewaranon is on Telegram. Yeah, I think I did find that the other day. Thank you, Karen. Nancy Smart. So much better quality and professional work in the old time. How is it even we had the technology to produce excellent materials? And that's what I'm saying. Like when you really start to look at how are some of these structures built, that's what gets me the gears are cranking now, right? I'm looking at how is that really possible? Yeah, and then the Chicago World Fair. Okay, so you're telling me that nothing was there in Chicago. There was nothing there a couple of years ago, right? And then we just built this city, and there was nothing there. But I don't know. I think there's structures in DC. I think there's structures in Philadelphia, in possibly in Detroit. San Fran was definitely a candidate for that. Some of those buildings there, as they show in the picture. So it was interesting. It's definitely worth watching. Okay. Quint Guthrie, Trump was at the Taj Mahal when they announced the pandemic. I did not know that. Interesting. Time for the elite to go on an evergreen container and get lost themselves in other planet. Well, okay, so so Elena Danan is talking about that. She's saying that a lot of the quote unquote elites, as they like to call themselves, are making the off-planet excursion to Mars, right? And that's where the war is really hot, even hotter than our dumbs and underground honeycomb areas, right? Of this realm or Earth or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so then lost a building with the word founded. Okay, yeah, the Star Wars blew my mind. Cappy 369. I like this guy. Nancy Simard. Yeah, New York has that. We have the star here. Okay, yeah, I got to check that out. start the Quebec. I'm gonna check that. That's an interesting thing. Canadian cities I didn't think about, but I'm sure there's several, right? Probably is blockchains in the house. Enrique Alvarado, giant walls make for giant floods on both sides. Yeah. Tartaria. I believe we create the world we live in. Yes. Does anyone know what cosmic crown is? I don't know what that is. Nancy Simard, remote viewing is dangerous. Yeah, I'm sure it can very well be dangerous, especially if I've told my one story before, and I'll tell it one more time, just because you asked. No, I did have an event where I was trying to remote view something very highly regarded as a off limits area that supposedly had psychic protection. And I think I got zapped by that protection, and I had to call on Archangel Michael to help me in that scenario that I was in. And I do believe that happened. I felt a feeling that I have never felt before in my life, never felt again. And it felt like a beam of hot energy was shooting straight down into my brain. And at the exact moment that I was doing it. And so I learned that that's a real thing. And I got burned. So not saying you shouldn't do it, but there's definitely places that if you send your consciousness to, it's immediately detected, and they don't like it. So it's a lot of those probably those A places where they make the A chrome, stuff like that, right? Okay. Feels like YouTube in 2015. Yeah. I hope I give it that throwback vibe, blockchain. Thank you. Russell J. Gould. Yeah, I keep an eye on that guy. I mean, I did post that. I think the most popular video on my channel is not, of course, my content. It's actually a video that talks about him. So, yeah, so I think he's interesting. I don't know why. I wish that there was more going on with it. Like guys like Russell J. Gould and like, who's that woman, Kim Possible, like they make these incredible claims, right? And just unbelievable stuff that they say, and I don't see a lot of action though, unfortunately, with those guys, right? That's the challenge I have. But I love obviously the video that has done so well on this channel, the one that speaks about the War Castles video, right, that we posted. I think a lot of that stuff is very relevant, and I'm very I do enjoy that content, and well, learning about it now, the Admiralty Law angle to all this, which also ties right back into the same conversation with the lost history stuff. But those pesky Jesuits just keep showing up everywhere, right? And then the Vatican and all that stuff, right? So it's interesting. Get rid of media that will rise vibration. Yes, I know. You're right, Daniel. Thank you. Include social media. I pretty much have. I think my Facebook got smoked the other day. It's gone. It's just gone, and it's hacked, and I can't get. I've had it for like 10 years, and so one way or another, it's kind of all going down, right? Russ is the man. Going to Mars. That's rich. I don't know what that. Okay. She's nuts, mates. I don't know what that means, Johnny. I'm sorry, maybe I'm missing something. Okay, find out what the cosmic crown means. Remote viewing, explain this process to me. So Johnny, remote viewing is a process where you are able to project your consciousness. It's done in a way where the people that are viewing do not actually know what they're viewing. They are only privy to a numeric sequence which has been given intention by another person or a group of people into the number, and then the remote viewer uses that to decode the situation, and it's incredibly accurate in a lot of cases. Like one of the ones you could check out is there's a remote viewing of you know, they called it Atlantis, and it was a spot in the middle of the ocean, and these people had no clue what they were viewing, and they're just coming up with like, you know, it's like a civilization, but it seems like another time, and it was just like very specific details, and you know, talked about, um, you know, you know, there's been a lot of that done, and it's a regularly, it's a something that the military actually uh, kind of created the process that we use, that's used today, and it's kind of leaked out over the decades, and now it's in the hands of everyday people are doing it in YouTube channels like Crypto Viewing is another one, Farsight. There's one called, really good one that I saw that I listened to one time. I can't think of the name right now, but Intuitive something. The dude was pretty on point about some stuff. Like he talked about the Moon Saturn matrix, and it was very interesting. So there's a lot of good content out there in that category of remote viewing and what people are seeing, and it's definitely something that is, I believe, is real. It does exist. It is used by not just governments, but probably corporations even. To there's all different kinds of types of reasons why you'd want to do something like that, right? And there's a value to that intelligence. So it does exist. Okay. Jesuit globalists who sold Russia's gold in 1915, then used it to fund both sides of wars through the military industrial. Yeah, I mean, all kinds of that. All kinds of that. I mean, I'm not saying that the Jesuits are the only, they're just like a piece of the puzzle. I know there's many other groups that overlap. There's like, you know, secret societies of all sorts. There's Knights of Malta, there's the CFR, there's Bilderberger Group, there's intelligence agencies, there's governments, there's layer upon layer of this madness, right? Who's the head of the snake? Well, I think that a lot of people are coming to the conclusion, at least, and again, I'm a person with no direct inside information, but if you look at the general narrative, it appears to be based in Orion, Alpha Draconis. Of course, you've got this element of the Dark Fleet, which they call is a group that's made up of, that's a German group. They have a foot in the game, right? Ewaranon speaks of the Sakaar, which is a form of a reptile-like like creature being, and then you have Aldebaran, right? Which has the tall whites, I believe it is. So and then there's of course Greys, which can be programmed to work for either side, and so there's a lot of those working all over the place. And then there's Zeta Reticulans, which some people say are benevolent. I don't know if I'm convinced. I like Nancy Lieder, but not exactly 100% sure on that. But I keep an eye on that. Keep my foot to the to the ground, or my ear to the ground. So yeah, I think I'm gonna shut it down. I think we got a lot of content there. That was a fun video. I feel like I was pretty good today. I'm working on trying not to say, I'm gonna go back and watch this video and see how my speech is. I hope it was pretty good. I hope I was keeping it interesting for you guys. Thank you so much. And as always, I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time here today. I thought that was a nice conversation. I really appreciate the comments and the vibes you guys have. And it seems like we've had a pretty steady audience for most of this video, which is really cool. Well, namaste. And I wish everybody a wonderful weekend, and go forward now. And let's make next week a great week. Let's have lots of high vibes and good energy going into this week. And, put that armor of God on, and just, rise above and just laugh in the face of, in the face of evil, because it can't touch us. They can't get to us. We will go beyond anything. So I appreciate everybody. Namaste. I love you. God bless. And we'll be back here with some more exciting content very soon. Take care.